10 a.m. live from the 11Alive streaming center for the next hour. We are watching a whole lot going on, including out in Barrow County. You have the trial against Colin Gray. Right now, a GBI special agent is on the stand playing an interview that the GBI had with Colin Gray. It's a lengthy interview. It seems they've been playing it for the jury for the last at least 15 minutes or so. Colin Gray taking some notes as he's listening to his own voice in that interview from a couple years back. And we will get to more questioning here very soon. I can tell you that right now in the audio, the jury is hearing about the time that Colin Gray bought his son Colt the rifle. He said he bought it to go deer hunting with his son. Of course, as we all know, that is the rifle that the alleged school shooter then used to carry out the shooting at Appalachia High School back in September of 2024. So more to come on that trial here soon, but we also want to talk about the day ahead weather-wise. Meteorologist Melissa Nord standing by, looking at nice blue skies, but it's a chilly one out there.
It's cold, but Dan, we're digging out of the hole. We're at the bottom of the roller coaster. We're going back up it. So
good.
Some improvements are coming in. Also an improvement, if you look at this camera live from on top of Northside Hospital, you see that flag? Yesterday at this time, it was whipping in those strong gusty winds. Same with Sunday. Today, the flag is much calmer. That's a sign that our winds are lighter today. So there is a little bit of a wind chill effect, but not a huge wind chill effect like we saw yesterday at this time. So still a little bit, a little cold out there. You need the big layers first thing this morning, but that wind's not going to cut through you as much. The wind chills are in the mid-20s here in Atlanta. We've got teens up across the North Georgia mountains still at 10 o'clock. So yes, it is cold, but I don't know. I stepped outside this morning and thought, it's not that bad. Yesterday felt really bad. This morning wasn't that bad, and tomorrow will feel even better outside. 33 current temperature in Atlanta, so we're now back above the freezing mark. Still in the mid-20s, Blairsville, and low 30s at the moment in Clayton. But this is also one of those graphics to show you that we're going up the roller coaster. Our 24-hour temperature change graphic. This shows you that we're running a little bit warmer than yesterday. As we head into the afternoon, those numbers will stretch to closer to 10 degrees warmer than it was yesterday afternoon. Fair amount of sunshine for now. We'll track a few high-level clouds at times today, but otherwise smooth sailing the rest of your Tuesday. And Tuesday's temperatures are not so terrible either, if we can add some alliteration in there. We've got 53 this afternoon for a high. We'll have some high-level clouds, but otherwise it's a decent day today, just a bit brisk outside at times. So maybe not feeling quite like late February outside. We'll take it as a win, though, in comparison to yesterday's high of just 40 degrees. Cold air retreating, milder air coming in. We'll trade those 40s for 50s, 60s, and eventually some 70s for our high temperatures. But with the warmer weather will also come our next chance of rain. That's going to come in late Thursday night into Friday morning. So we'll first have some scattered showers in there, but then you can see some of that yellow on the map. That's some slightly heavier rain coming in overnight Thursday through early Friday morning. So in total, those rain amounts could end up being between the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday 3-day span combined about 1 to 2 inches in a few spots. So we'll be watching that to start the weekend. In the meantime, though, looking nice today. Cold start this morning. Cool this afternoon. We'll be up around the low 50s. You see the clouds are with us tomorrow, but despite the clouds, there's not a lot of rain that's going to be out there. We've added kind of a 20% chance of a stray shower generously. Most of us are dry tomorrow. Decent for outdoor plans. Thursday morning's commute, even doesn't look bad. It'll be the afternoon we start to track more of those scattered showers, and then here it comes Thursday overnight. You can see that kind of squall line entering northwest Georgia. That will weaken as it gets here. So as of now, there's no area for severe weather likely, but certainly some heavy rain, some rumbles of thunder that might wake you up a little bit for your Friday morning. But that rain gets out of here for the weekend, looking like a nice spring-like weekend as we are 1 week away from springing forward and officially starting March as well. Dan, on Sunday, high of 71. Not too shabby.
I'm going to make chilly one more time this week, and then I am done with winter.
Oh, I like that sound. Chilly.
Time to move on.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa, thank you so much. All right, we told you it was a busy morning here on 11Alive Plus, and let's get to some breaking news that we first brought you last hour. In case you missed it, Savannah Guthrie issued another emotional plea on Instagram this morning. It's the first time we've heard from her in some time. Of course, she's addressing the disappearance of her mother, Nancy Guthrie, who disappeared back on February 1st. It's now been 24 days since she seemingly just vanished from her home in Tucson, Arizona. This morning, a massive reward being put forth by the Guthrie family. Let's watch that video in full.
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her. And most of all, just missing her, We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. We are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know there are millions of families that have suffered with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need and need prayers and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
If somebody out there chooses to be the light in the dark today, they could walk away with $1.2 million. You got the $1 million from the Guthrie family, you got $100,000 from the FBI, and you got $100,000 from Crime Stoppers, who is helping out as well. Reams, the money is there. You know, you never know. It's always worth putting out there because people change, relationships change, and sometimes, quite frankly, money talks.
Yes, unfortunately, in this situation, that is the hope that we have now, is that this money is enough for someone to talk. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. went missing on February 1st, was when she was reported. They believe she went missing January 31st when police say she was abducted from her home after dinner at her daughter's home. We are getting conflicting reports on those now viral, widespread images that I'm pulling up right now of the accused suspect who has not been taken into custody yet. There's no person of interest yet. There's a little back and forth on whether or not these were taken on 2 nights or the same night. Sources telling NBC News one of these photos at least was on a previous night. From what I'm seeing from other sources, that the Pima County Sheriff says that's purely speculative. They haven't necessarily been the most forward in details, so a lot of questions still remain there.
And I saw some of that reporting last night saying that this was from 2 different nights, according to sources. And the sheriff department, I believe, maybe it was on X where they put out that statement. I'm pulling it up right now. For some reason, they may not want that information out there, that if this is indeed from 2 different nights. Let's see. Yes, here's the official statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Department, posted on X. We are aware that doorbell images released earlier in the investigation depict a suspect in different stages of attire, including with and without a backpack. There is no date or timestamp associated with these images. Therefore, any suggestion that the photographs were taken on different days is purely speculative. But reporting shows that, at least from some law enforcement sources, they seem to believe these were taken on different nights. More to come there, no doubt, as multiple agencies work to make an arrest in this gut-wrenching case that now has more than $1 million up for grabs if somebody has the information. We're back in just a few minutes. This is 11Alive Plus. Well, money may not buy you happiness, but how your partner spends and saves might shape just how happy you feel in your relationship. There is a new study out from the University of Georgia that looks at how couples' perceptions of spending and saving link to both financial and relationship satisfaction. We're going to show you that study in a moment, but we're happy to be joined by the lead author of that study right now, Jamie Lynn Byram. Good morning, and thank you for your time.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's great to have you here and to showcase this study. What exactly did it find about partner spending and how that connects to relationship happiness?
Well, we did a couple of levels with this study. We looked at the couples together, their thoughts together, and then we also looked at husbands and then wives. And at the couple level, perceptions of one another was strongly or more strongly associated with marital satisfaction and financial satisfaction. So it looks like at the couple level that the husband and the wife don't. Their satisfaction isn't related to how they perceive themselves; it's how they look at their partner. And then also, satisfaction is relational and gendered. The husband's perception of their wives influence their marital satisfaction and financial satisfaction, and also for the wife, their perception of their husbands. Was strongly related to marital satisfaction and financial satisfaction.
So it sounds like perceptions are key in this study, right? I mean, if we know that and we want to improve how we approach spending or saving or happiness in our relationship, how should we be thinking about that, knowing perception is key here?
Well, I think communication is important. In addition to teaching, I'm also a financial planner, and working with clients. One of the first things you need to do is, understand their money history, their financial thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, attitudes. How did they learn about money? How was the environment around money? What role did money play in their growing up? Because all of that forms who we are and how we perceive money. And so, if we can communicate to one another our attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, it'll help us understand our partner better. And, that can help influence, obviously, our perceptions of one another, and, hopefully lead to fewer disagreements around money, and more financial harmony in the relationship.
I'm curious to know if you found any difference when it came to how long the couple had been together or how old they were. Any generational differences?
Well, not really. Not that I could say would be significant, statistically significant. Um, we did have a number of people who were married for many decades, and but I really couldn't speak on that as far as it being significant for this study. So I have my own opinions, but I think,
but we are talking scientific research now, right? So let's see. I think I'm the saver in the relationship. My wife is more the YOLO, let's go have some fun. I think it's actually a nice balance, and to have the kind of opposites attract idea. I mean, from your experience as a financial planner, do you find that it's healthy to have a little bit of both in a relationship?
I do. I think that, as long as each person understands, the financial goals of the family, and they're both working toward reaching those goals, it's okay. I always recommend that people have, you can call it mad money, you can call it rainy day money. I always tell there's no judgment around this money. If you've agreed on a dollar amount, then that person can spend that money however they want. And I usually, always add, if somebody wants to wallpaper the bathroom in $5 bills using their money, they can do it. There's no judgment. And, so that usually helps with people, like understanding that they don't have to answer for every nickel and dime that they spend, that they do have this amount that solely belongs to them, and what they do with it is their business.
It's an interesting study. I read the synopsis, and you can read it for yourself on UGA Today. Just search "How You Feel About Your Partner's Spending Habits May Affect Your Relationship." I think this could lead to some interesting dinner time discussion tonight.
Yes, absolutely. So I do want to point out two things that were interesting. For the wife, the way that she perceived her husband influenced her financial satisfaction. But for the husband, if his wife perceived herself as a spender, we saw an increase in marital satisfaction. So I think that is so interesting because of you typically hear people complain about someone being a spender, but in some cases, and it could be to the traditional role, in the Deep South, that's true. But I did think that outcome was fascinating to me.
Yeah, so many layers to this. Jamie, thank you so much
Yes.
for your time.
Yes.
Nice talking to you.
Sure. Thanks. You too. Bye bye.
All right, goodbye. Reams, you're getting married in just a couple months. I would recommend not putting wallpaper in the bathroom in the form of $5 bills.
Well, we currently rent our condos, so I don't think there will be any wallpapering in $5 bills.
That's good. Hey, but it's always good to have these discussions early on. Thank you so much. And we're back in just a few minutes. You're watching 11Alive Plus. Back on this Tuesday morning, it's 10:23. We're with you live as we are every morning here from the 11Alive Streaming Center, bringing you breaking news as it happens, guests with context and commentary, including some fun ones like the one we just talked about. But we want to get back out to Barrow County and the trial of Colin Gray underway right now. Colin furiously taking notes over here as he listens to an interview he gave the GBI in the days after the shooting that his son allegedly carried out at Appalachia High School. A GBI agent is on the stand testifying. They are playing that interview. They've been playing it for the last 30 minutes for the jury to hear. Let's listen into some more.
Is this his first year out?
Yeah. So we signed him up last year to go to 8th grade where his sister goes. And the first day of school came and he threw a fit for 8th grade. He didn't want to go. And I'm like, what?
And where is she at, you said?
She's right next door to Heaven Morris. He was supposed to go there last year. Well, the change, all that was going on, like he just couldn't do it on the first day. So I said, all right, we'll try the second. Like, no. Then my mother-in-law and all of her wisdom while I'm at work, and he's out of school the second day, says, well, hey, how about if we sign you up for online school? That's all it took.
Oh, of course.
And I'm like, no, we can't do that.
Right.
I said, you have to go to school. And he's like, no, man, Lou showed me. And she like broke it down, like
Okay.
showing him that, yeah, he truly could go to online school. And I'm like,
So he probably already didn't want to physically go to school after knowing that was an option.
Yeah. And so it's just like, I don't know if what's happened with his mom and, you know, the back and forth about all of that, and, you know, just the way that kind of, when he was down there trying to get him locked up in YDC, and there's a riff, you know, and that's why I said, we'll just come here and we'll decide who comes and stays. And I know she's your mama, but you have to be adding value to the family. You can't come here.
Yeah, just cause problems. Yeah, I understand.
So I'm trying to instill in him that, like, hey, your brother and your sister are watching. Like, little Colin is watching you.
Yeah.
Just like, even if you feel like crap that day, still try to be a good person for your brother.
Yeah, like a good role model.
Yeah, you know?
Have you been in his room today and looked around or anything like
When
that?
I got home, I walked in and I'm like,
Sorry, do you know? I don't know if that's one of us, Amelia.
in that black car, there's 3 or 4.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure
there,
that it
yeah.
wasn't someone that you didn't know. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I came home and was like, man, I go into his room and I just had the feeling like, but then I'm like, I'm overreacting. I'm like, there's no way. I mean, how the hell is he going to walk across the yard with a long rifle and get on a bus? There's no way this is him. And by then, his sister's doing what she's doing now. I'm calling her every 5 minutes. His mom and his grandmother. And I'm like, it's fine. Everybody's watching the news. And I said, hell, it's not him. I said, all the guns are accounted for. They're in my closet. And I said, except for the one Colt put that laser in. I said, I'll call you in a minute. So as soon as I got here, I opened that door, Fox News, I left the TV on, and sure enough, there was Appalachia High, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I go down to his bedroom, and I just stuck my head inside there, and there's his 2 guitars, and it's laying over there in the corner, and it's not there.
Okay.
So I called his mom, and I'm like, how in the hell does he get on the bus? Or is there somebody else involved here? Like, I don't understand. Like, how in the hell, like, nobody's talking to me. I know what happened, and I'm upset and sad, but I'm really pissed because that kid, man, like, this is so wrong. And he is he's been feeding us a whole bunch of, yep, I want to get better, we're going to go to the thing, and talk to his grandmother, like, hey. So I just stuck my head in there and called his mom and said, well, stand by.
Yeah.
I said, because his AR is not here.
Okay.
And then y'all started beating on the door.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out what information I can give to you at this time. That's one thing I'm gonna try to do for you, because I'm sure you have 9 million things going through your head right now.
And I've got to
and
get
you have
my
other
kids.
kids. Yeah, so that's important as well.
It's the only thing that I'm like.
Okay.
It's just a normal, like, I can't believe it's
Also,
like,
though, do you have any follow-up questions?
Yeah, I've got a few.
All right, what you got?
I have a 15-year-old. And
I was told, I didn't see any, but I was told. Yes, sir. You need the restroom? Okay. All right, we'll take a 15-minute restroom break. How much time's left on the audio?
about 30,
14 minutes.
44 minutes.
And then
That interview you were listening to was given on the afternoon of September 4th, the day of the shooting. The initial interview between Colin Gray and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a GBI special agent on the stand testifying. They played audio of that, ran for at least 45 minutes, I'd say, for the jury to listen to. And Colin Gray himself there taking notes as he re-listened to his own words on the day that his son allegedly carried out that school shooting. This morning, we are also watching this House GOP news conference going on right now. Speaker Mike Johnson speaking alongside Steve Scalise speaking right now, the majority leader of the House. Let's listen in to Mr. Scalise.
Has done to improve the lives of people and what work we still have to do to continue getting this country back on track. We're not where we want it to be. But for anybody who wants to take us back to where we were just a year and a half ago to 3 years ago, let's remind them of where Democrats take us when they get full power. You don't have to go to California or New York to know how bad things can get, because they were that bad here in D.C. before Donald Trump became president. We had a wide open porous border with millions of people coming across. Every single month you would see record numbers coming in. And there were violent criminals coming into our country, drug cartels. The Mexican drug cartels had operational control of our southern border. And for people that don't remember how bad it was, just look at what's going on right now in Guadalajara. Just look at what's happening in that country as their leadership finally starts to confront the cartels. But they were running our southern border and bringing bad people and poisonous drugs into our country every single day. And Donald Trump ran for president saying, I'm going to do something about it. And he worked with this Republican Congress to fix that mess. And we started focusing on other problems too. We're starting to get this economy back on track. Wage growth is finally up. It's not where we need it to be. Families lost $3,000 of buying power during Biden's 4 years in office. $3,000. They made up $1,200 of it so far. But that means there's more to go. And so we're going to be laying out an agenda. You're going to see us continuing to move more good bills like we've already been moving. And you're going to see the president laying out policy ideas tonight that this Congress will move. Sadly, Democrats have voted no on just about every major policy that have fixed the mess that they made. And that's okay, because we're going to do the job anyway. And some of those people that are benefiting from those policies are going to be in the balcony tonight. You're going to see some of those stories, and Chair McClain talked about some of them. You saw Whip Emmer talk about some of them. I'm going to highlight two of them right here. We're going to be two of my guests that I'm very proud of. We've got Heath Sykes, who's a server, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans. We're known for our food. We love our food. Drago's restaurant is where they invented the charbroiled oysters. He gets to serve charbroiled oysters every day, and so many other great meals from a true American dream success story. The Satanovich family is a second-generation family that fled communism to come seek the American dream, and they now have it in the Drago's restaurants. And he serves there and no longer has to pay tax on tips. And he gets to celebrate what that means for having more money in his pocket, being able to do more for his family. And then the other guest I have is Anthony Bertoni, who's a deputy sheriff in Jefferson Parish, where I live. And thank you for your service.
A little preview of the State of the Union address tonight from Steve Scalise, Louisiana Congressman, minority leader in the House. Majority leader, of the House. We are watching for the President's State of the Union address tonight. He's expected to talk about immigration, the economy, and, of course, tariffs, too. The Supreme Court justice is going to be sitting just feet away from him right there in the front row after that big opinion coming down on Friday regarding the president's tariffs. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle going to be there as well. Some important figures going to be in attendance too, although some Democrats have already signaled plans to boycott that event, instead attending a nearby rally. So what more can we expect tonight? Let's get more from NBC's Tracy Wilkins.
The president's remarks will likely be a test run of the message Republicans plan to give voters in November's elections in an attempt to maintain control of the House and Senate. A vital pitch, as the latest polling shows growing disapproval for this White House and its policies. While few details have been confirmed for tonight's State of the Union address, the president's latest public comments and his posts on Truth Social may suggest what the nation can expect. there is one thing the president has made clear.
It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about.
The latest polling showing nearly 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's overall performance, and more than half disapproving of key policies like the economy, international relations, and immigration enforcement, according to a Washington Post ABC poll. Changing minds is expected to be a key focus of tonight's speech as the president makes his own case.
We've transformed stagnation into growth, weakness into strength, and chaos into order, liberty, and justice. We have done that. Today our border is secure. Murders are at a 125-year low.
Some Democrats have said they will not attend tonight's address in protest.
It's important to show the American public that someone that has led the single most corrupt government in U.S. history, that there has to be action against that.
There's no confirmation on who will be the president's guests for the evening, but we do expect the Supreme Court justices to be front and center following their 6-3 ruling limiting Trump's ability to level tariffs.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court.
But what the president's base and most Americans will want to hear is his plans for the economy, lowering inflation and prices, something the president claims he's already winning on.
I have to listen to the fake news talking about affordability. I've won affordability.
The official Democratic response will be delivered by Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, along with Senator Alex Padilla, who will give a response in Spanish. At least a dozen Democrats plan to boycott the speech and attend rallies in D.C. instead. 6 Democrats, including Congressman Ro Khanna, plan to bring survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse as their guests. In Washington, I'm Tracy Wilkins, NBC News. Back to you.
That speech set for 9 o'clock tonight. You can watch it, well, just about anywhere. We're back in just a few minutes. You're watching 11 Alive Plus. I want to take you live to a press conference happening now in the nation's capital. The families of Flight 5342 joined by some bipartisan leadership from the House, and they are discussing the Rotor Act, which is up for a vote on the House floor this week. These are the families of that flight that crashed mid-air with an Army Black Hawk helicopter a year ago over the Potomac. Let's listen.
Look forward to passing this bipartisan, bicameral bill today. And let's know that this is just the first step of much more to come in aviation safety reforms and to address the rest of the NDSB's recommendations. This only addresses one really important one, much more to come. But passing the Rotor Act is the strongest first step we can take. So let me now introduce my good friend, the distinguished member of Congress from Loudoun County, Mr. Suhas Subramanian.
Thank you so much for being here. I just want to thank all the families of the victims for all their advocacy, and thank all the members who have been a part of the Rotary Act for all the great work they have done. We've talked about the technical reasons why this is important, but I think there's also emotional reasons why a lot of people want to feel safe when they're flying. A lot of people saw what happened last year, and they want to know that we're doing something about it. That we want to fix this problem, we want to move forward and make sure that it never happens again. And the Rotary Act is one really important way to do that. It's a way of moving forward and giving us a chance to correct a horrible, horrible mistake that happened. And so I want to thank the sponsors of this bill and all the leaders of this. I look forward to supporting the Rotary Act today. Thank you.
We're now very honored, too, to have Congressman Troy Nels from Texas, who is a leader on the aviation subcommittee. Mr. Nels.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be with you. I chair the Aviation Subcommittee on Transportation and Infrastructure. I spoke on the House floor last night about the Rotary Act. And I just want to be clear, Jennifer, it's good to see you. I just want to be clear. Everything is about safety. Safety has to be the priority. What took place over the Potomac last January, in my humble opinion, should have never happened. We can do better. The Rotary Act is a great start. Is it a perfect bill? If you expect a perfect bill, nothing up here is ever perfect. But it moves the football forward. It moves the football forward in relation to safety and more accountability. And I also believe more transparency. Jennifer Homendy, the chair of NTSB, put the 50 recommendations out there. And we need to listen. Congress needs to listen more from the experts on how we can improve safety. And I was the chairman of the committee for just a short time when that horrible crash took place. And within weeks, I have family members in my office. And I'll never forget the time the young man showed me a picture of his fiancée. Showed me a picture of his fiancée. And he said to me, "Will you be our champion?" Do you remember that? "Will you be our champion?" And I said, "Damn straight I'll be your champion." And so we have to agree to disagree at times. Again, the Rotary Act isn't perfect. I am supporting the Rotary Act. We must get it done. We do have other bipartisan legislation in the works that can even take safety further. But that doesn't mean that we should not act on the Rotary Act, and it has my complete and total support. And I want to thank the families for being here. Congress is going to do something good today to improve safety, specifically around the DCA, the Class B airspace. Very congested. We have to do this. We have to do it for the American people. And we certainly have to keep the families of this crash in our memories, in our minds, each and every day. So God bless you all.
Thank you, Troy, very much. Now move on to Rachel Ferris, who represents one of the families. Rachel.
Thank you so much. My name is Rachel Ferris. My cousin Peter got on American Eagle Flight 5342 with his wife Donna and their two daughters, Everly and Lydia. They are not here. I am. Peter and Donna should be at home with their girls, Chris and Asra and Melissa and Edward and Kia and all of the other passengers should be with the people who love them. Jonathan and Sam should be here and they should be flying planes. Rebecca, Andrew, and Ryan should be here and serving our country. Their lives were precious and their deaths were 100% preventable. 67 people, gone in a moment, and here is what makes that unbearable. The ADS-BN technology that would have given both pilots the ability to see each other in the sky is not new. The NTSB has recommended it 17 times over the last 2 decades. It would have given the crew of the jet and the crew of the Blackhawk almost a full minute of warning. Time enough to move, time enough to live. The NTSB has issued 50 recommendations in relation to our crash. But if you ask any of us, what single thing could have changed that night? What one variable, one moment where the outcome could have been different? It's pilots being able to see each other. There is no requirement for that technology today. The gap is still open right now while we are standing here. The skies over Burbank, over St. Louis, over Seattle, over every busy airport in this country. The risk that took our families is still there for yours. The gap, that is the gap we are here to close today with the Rotor Act. The people who are voting on this have families who fly. I want this technology there for them. I wish it had been there for mine. The Rotor Act passed the Senate unanimously. Every major aviation labor union, every major airline, the pilots, the flight attendants, the air traffic controllers, all are saying the same thing. Pass this bill. The NTSB says it would have prevented this crash. To the leaders in the House, pass Rotor. Pass it today. Come back and do the rest of the work to address the other risks and NTSB recommendations. We, the families, will be here for that too. But do not let the promise of something more or something perfect be the reason you do nothing now. We ask you to vote yes on Rotor, and let's get back to work together for every family that should never go through what ours did. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, very much. But now we're here from my good friend, the distinguished member of Congress from Rhode Island, Mr. Gabe Upham.
Colleagues in Congress, thank you. Families, crew members, pilots, thank you for your tremendous strength and courage. It's not easy to come to Washington. It's not easy to ask your...
That is a news conference with lawmakers from a bipartisan coalition in the House standing alongside grieving family members more than a year after that mid-air collision over the Potomac between American Airlines Flight 5342 and an Army Black Hawk helicopter, killing all 67 people between the two aircraft. The families and lawmakers calling for a change to make sure something like that doesn't happen again. They are starting, they say, with the Rotor Act, which could potentially be voted on by the House today. We'll be watching that out of the nation's capital. Also watching the State of the Union address from the president tonight at 9 p.m. We have more news coming your way in just a few minutes. You're watching 11Alive Plus. Been a busy morning here from the streaming center. My thanks as always to our producer Reams Landreth helping us find big news happening nationwide and here at home, and there's been plenty of it for the last 2 hours. In Washington, D.C., we brought you a snippet just a moment ago of that news conference from families from the flight 5342 who lost loved ones over the Potomac last year during that mid-air collision. They are speaking about what needs to change to ensure that doesn't happen to anybody else. Also, a $1 million reward now offered by Savannah Guthrie and her family as they continue to search for her mom, Nancy. We brought you that as breaking news when she first dropped her Instagram video at 9 a.m. announcing that massive new reward, hoping anybody comes forward with information about where their mom could be. And right now in Barrow County, we are watching the Colin Gray trial. It is underway. A 15-minute break just wrapped up. More witnesses being called to the stand this morning. We have heard from a GBI agent testifying and including audio recordings of that GBI agent's initial interview on the afternoon of that school shooting with Colin Gray, the father of Colt Gray, who was alleged to have carried out that shooting at Appalachian High School that killed two students and 2 teachers. The father standing trial. It is day 7 as the jury continues to listen to testimony. Reams, this began last week. We heard 5 days of emotional testimony last week. We are now in day 2 of emotional testimony extending into this week for 7 total days, and perhaps the prosecution could rest its case as early as this week.
I mean, potentially. I know they still have a few more witnesses we're going in. We do not have the witness list, so we don't know how many more they have left after this. We do expect, based off our Grace King in the courtroom right now, that they do have a lot more testimony to get through today and in the future, more sound, more video that they're expected to play here in the near future as well.
I tell you, it's been something hearing from a total of 61 people who have been called to testify. 61 people called to testify in the first 7 days of this trial as the prosecution continues to present its case. Let's listen in.
United Healthcare. So this is Lisa Butler sent me this and asked me to fill this out.
Okay.
For Colt.
When was that?
This was last week.
Okay.
So they had this. I filled it out and said, absolutely, I would like expedite. Can we just get, like, I know he needs somebody, not to this level clearly. Mm-hmm. Like, I know he's like a normal kid and he's dealing with a bunch of crap. Like, I swear to God, like that, this was the last thing. Like, it's not even like I get it, he's a hothead, I was too, like that. I'm more worried about breaking windows or skipping school. That's gonna be the worst thing I gotta deal with him. And
not on your radar.
This was not on my damn radar. So this is the email, and I'll just forward you the last one so y'all have
I'm going to give you my email so you can send me all of that.
Yeah. But she was like, what they can offer Colt. All right. And they were asking, was it okay for them? Yeah, no, it's all good. And that's what I was waiting for was, okay, hell, if they're involved, my main thing with them was, if they're involved with the school, does my insurance even matter?
Sure.
If it doesn't, then let's get him in right now.
Okay. So he does anxiety. Is that something that he has said he feels?
Yeah, he said he feels anxiety. And, you know, I tell him, well, drinking a Rockstar doesn't help anxiety. Yeah. So he's, you know, he doesn't drink a lot of those, but I told him, I'm like, if you're anxious at all, this is not what to drink. So
when did he last express that to you?
He pretty much has anxiety, he feels like every day, you know, so we're like, the only thing I know to do is like, hey, here's some melatonin stuff at night. I said, just help you to stay mellow and get some sleep. And then, you know, there'll be some weekends where he's up on the computer gaming and like I hear it all night. And he'll stay up all night playing those games with everybody. And, you know, the main thing is not the anxiety comes with what I was telling you was I narrowed it down to sleep. And as soon as he passes a line in the sand, that's it. It's all over right there.
the computers and everything. Have you ever looked through his computer or looked through his phone?
No, he keeps everything so like coded and everything because he's afraid I'm going to do it. And I don't know what the heck's on there, to be honest with you, but I always try to keep him thinking that I know what I'm doing on a computer, but he's got all these firewalls and shit where I don't know how I'm getting there, but he thinks I can.
Have you ever overheard any of the conversations, like with people he's gaming with?
No, not really. It's always been about, and I've walked in there where he gets all wound up and he's playing Call of Duty. Yeah, he's playing Call of Duty.
So that is that like his go-to?
Yeah, at night if he's up most of the night he's gaming.
And he's using like a computer, not Xbox or PlayStation?
No, he's got both.
So he's got both. So he's usually using his computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Going all the way back to 7th grade.
Yeah.
I know some of the bullying you said started at Jefferson.
Yeah.
What was he being bullied about? You know, what was it? Looks? Was it attitudes?
No, he's more of he is just kind of like he's real quiet. Like he won't go out of his way to talk or introduce himself or anything like that. And it started with a group of people in middle school that there was a kid, there were 2 guys and 3 girls, and he would sit at the end of the lunch table and just by himself basically. And one of the kids would come by and it's okay, and it started with them flicking him in the ear.
Okay.
And that's the first time I went up to the school. I was like, okay, we're not just yik-yakking now.
Yes.
I know it's just a flick in the ear, but they made contact with him, and I don't want to make sure we're doing the right thing here, and you got people on this. And it just kind of kept going on all year, and I said, listen, can we, like the 3rd or 4th time I went to Jefferson, I'm like, can we like have him just show up for school? And like, I know this is terrible, but I was in ISI in high school a lot because I'm the only boy of 4 sisters. So.
Gosh, okay.
So
no need for explaining.
Yep, I got it. So that was just something to where he didn't and has never really been around a lot of bullying, obviously. And I don't know if he knew how to respond. I just told him, do not touch anybody else.
Yeah.
Like they're touching you, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. So we kind of back and forth about that, and it was clear by the end of the year that when he came home, he was like, listen, I'm good. I'm 7th grade over. He's like, I don't want to go back to that school. I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to live? It's just us now. He said, I want to get as close to Statham so I know where we're at. And I'm like, okay, so that's how we ended up here.
And this was before the Littles came back up here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And going into the room a little bit, I know you said that you knew where his guitars were. You knew where he kept that rifle in his room.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever been in his room further than just sticking your head in?
Oh, yeah. I'll go in there and sit on the bed and talk to him about whatever we're talking about. Bring him dinner. I cook dinner every night. Bring him in there if he's in the middle of something. So, yeah, I'm in there quite a bit.
Okay. Did you ever see anything in his room that concerned you?
I mean, no, and I'm on like full alert for it just because of what's going on, and the rift between him and his mom. He's not going to school, so I'm like, I've been looking for
Pictures, posters, notes, conversations.
No,
he's left laying out.
Nope, he had this weird poster on his wall of some guy with a red wig on. I'm like, who is that?